Didurigorani nya Kirli Saunders, and before I start, nya acknowledge mirani Gananugang Darwal Yuan Madung Boringilang Yango. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional country, owners of this country that we're standing on.
The series Unlabelled Coffee with Extra Milk is based on the timeline from my grandpa's childhood and upbringing to my identity now, and searching through a hidden and lost Indigenous heritage, which in the last few years we've been able to uncover and have been researching more and more. I think this one, for me personally, is really the old saying, can't judge a book by its cover. You really don't know who people are, what they've come from, what they've been through before you really know them and speak to them.
So this film work was collected through a series of conversations held with Indigenous members of the community. This work is primarily about taking accountability and recognising that in 2020 we still live in a society that favours whiteness, and seeing the ways in which we can reconcile that hurt and prejudice moving forward.
What's your business here? Well, the idea was originally seeded on Alinta country. I was working in the Northern Territory and thinking about how we move across country and how we contribute to the communities that we're working in. The dreaming for me means that I'm a storyteller and a teacher, and that I have to contribute to community and care for the earth and for myself by being those things. And the intention of this work is to really bring people into contemplating how they're moving across country, how they're contributing to community, and how they're caring for the land, seas and skies, with the aims to try and decolonise.
So this series looks at male identity and queer identity on the coast, and it explores ideas of masculinity and those that are othered and who have to put masks on or hide parts of themselves to fit into certain parts of society and the effects of that.
So in this work I've drawn Arnie Lorraine and Arnie Norell, who I worked on a mural with back in high school. I've chosen to draw these women because of the significance they've had in shaping my identity as a young Indigenous woman, and I felt like I really wanted to explore this impact on my life by getting to know them through engaging in conceptual portraits.
So these works are mostly about trying to reuse what is lost and forgotten, giving new meaning to something that has gone through a lot of its life already and been tossed aside.
I just basically wanted to talk about the land and place-based colonialisation and how we've just destroyed it completely, and just the reckless nature of which we've been acting up until this point. And then I wanted to do a flip side to show a potential utopian future and what we could basically do if we all work together.
This is my first group exhibition, so it's really exciting as a young artist to come up and share a space with a bunch of other awesome artists, and I think the conversation for this exhibition is kind of one that's welcome now and really open in today's society. So it's really awesome to be able to share a past that previously would not have been able to be discussed openly.
I think it's great to see a lot of young emerging artists take place in this exhibition and hear a varied amount of experiences and perspectives. I think that's really important, something that needs to be shared, especially in galleries and museum spaces.
I think that First Nations production, curation, creation, telling First Nations stories on First Nations lands, beginning to pick apart the systems that we operate in, which we don't necessarily agree with, and starting to have a self-determined action around that by making bold statements, like, what's your business here? I think makes this exhibition a really important part of decolonising our local community through the arts and drawing attention to the ways that we can contribute to the self-determination of First Nations communities and care for country in the way that we move in our everyday life.